Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, February 18th, and today is our Asian inspired cooking class. Um, uh, oh, and Sue is coming in. Good morning, Sue. She's very serious looking. Hello, Sue. Well, welcome to our Asian inspired cooking class. We're just about to start. So today we're going to do, I was telling Suzanne before, this is one of my favorite soups ever. And I mean, I eat it year round, and you can switch it up depending on the vegetables that are in season, but it just has such a nice taste. It's very, it's versatile too, because you can put pretty much any type of protein in there. It's great with fish. I've heard it's good with chicken and beef and other things as well. And I put tofu in. And anyway, yeah, we're going to do one of my favorite soups in a little bit. But we're going to start off. I know some of you had a challenge finding the miso paste. So miso is just fermented soy. So an easy swap out for it is using like coconut aminos or regular Bragg's amino acid or soy sauce or tamari. But the miso, since it's fermented, it actually I like this white miso. Fermented vegetables or anything fermented has some really good things for your microbiome, for your gut. So one thing to know about it is you don't want to ever boil miso. So that's why we put it at the end and we just kind of mix it in, because it's actually live. And it's like, kind of like with yogurt. If you cook yogurt, you're killing all of the good bacteria in there. So that's kind of the same premise with the miso. But it's great in salad dressings and the soup. And if you are able to pick it up again in the future, I would say definitely do it. It's nice to have a tub like this. Usually last a year, and it's good for a year. So it's nice to have for the salad dressings, especially. So we'll take a look at that. So for this week, the new items were cabbage. Well, that's not new, but bok choy, coconut milk, green onion or scallion, matcha green tea powder if you want. It's optional. Miso paste, rice vinegar, pear, red chili paste. I think we use that in a different week too. Smoked salmon, 8 ounces, snap peas. I couldn't find snap peas. Rice noodles, or you can use thin spaghetti if you want, yogurt, and then protein of choice. So I am going to get into the recipes. The meal suggestions for the 3 days is, the first one is a pear smoothie. Lunch is the power bowl, and or a loaded sweet potato with sauteed veggies, lentils, and beans, and a salad. Dinner, power bowl as well. Dining out, we have the suggestions. Snack peas are a great snack with hummus, or some organic yogurt of choice with apple or pear or any chopped up fruit that's in season. Nuts and seeds of choice. And then carrot, celery, and cucumber sticks with dip of choice. The second breakfast is a sal avo toast, which is basically salmon. It's avocado toast with salmon. And it's nice if you want to switch it up and do it on sweet potato. It's really delicious. I eat that a lot, but you could use any toast that you want. The power bowl, and then the miso soup and salad. And snacks, edamame, roasted carrot sticks with a handful of nuts or seeds. So we're going to start with I'll go over the first recipe. I know Suzanne made it. The first recipe is for a pear smoothie. And you would take a quarter of a pear, and then a quarter of that frozen cauliflower, if you've been using that, or 2 pieces of frozen banana, a third cup of walnuts, a quarter cup of tofu, or a tablespoon of seed or nut butter, and then a half a cup of a non-dairy coconut milk. That's right. Half a cup of water, and then a cup of greens. And when it says greens, you guys, you can use whatever. You can put mixed lettuce in a smoothie. It's just a good way to get greens in, or kale or spinach, any greens that you have. You can put right into your smoothie. And a cup is really not going to affect the taste of it. Arugula in this particular smoothie would be good with the pear, and it would give it a nice taste because of the coconut milk. But generally, I love arugula, but I wouldn't put it into my smoothie, depending on what the other combo is. And then a scoop of protein powder, and then the boosters that I've added. But yeah, this is a nice one. Suzanne, what did you think of the smoothie? How was the taste? Suze? Yeah.
Muted.
Yeah.
I love the taste. I had more walnuts. I think I did a half a cup of walnuts just because I love that. And I
Okay.
didn't have coconut milk. I had almond milk, so I used that.
Okay.
And I put in, you're gonna laugh, the doTERRA scoop of greens.
Oh, perfect.
2
Okay.
scoops,
Yeah.
which I think it has ground up pineapple even in that. So it
Yeah.
gave it a kind of nice taste. And
Yeah.
then I put in, what else did I put in? The protein. Oh, the hemps. I bought the hemp. And I
Great.
never used them, so I smelled them. They don't smell very good. I put the cinnamon in too. The
Okay.
ones
Yeah,
that I
I
bought.
don't know. I've never really had I never thought the hemp smelled weird, but my
This one.
oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's
Nice.
very fresh, but it really
Okay.
doesn't smell that good. So I put a little extra cinnamon in so I wouldn't
Perfect.
smell it.
Yeah. And you know what? If you do it again later in the week and you try the coconut milk, it will taste totally different. Like if you liked
Oh.
it that way, the coconut milk really gives it a great taste.
I love the idea of the pear because that's not normally a fruit I would choose
Right.
for my smoothie. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, good. Yeah, pears are great. They super high in fiber,
Mhm.
and they're not super sweet. Depends on what type of pear you have. I bought a whole bag of these pears, and this morning I cut it up and put it in my oatmeal with ginger and cinnamon, and it was really, ginger and pear combo. So that's a nice thing you can do too. Yeah, pears are quite versatile. And like anything else, if Suze, you find you bought a couple of pears and they're getting, soft towards the end of the week, cut them up into chunks and freeze them. And then you put them in your smoothies too.
That's a
Or
great
you can put,
idea.
yeah, or you
And I
can
used
even put,
raw cauliflower in this
yeah,
one.
good. Okay, great.
Delicious.
Great. Well, I hope everyone tries that during the week. The second breakfast it's very easy. It's like I said, it's avocado toast with salmon. Um, you use a ripe avocado, and I do it on sweet potato toast. It's a nice way to get more veggies in, high fiber, but pick a nice multi-grain bread or sourdough or something. And just use about 2 ounces of smoked salmon. You can do it a little bit more, get your protein in. And then what's really nice to give it a kind of a cheesy taste is if you put 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast into the avocado and mix it in. I think we talked about nutritional yeast last time, but it's very high in vitamin B vitamins. So for anyone that is not eating a lot of meat, B12 is something that you can only get from red meat. So I don't get B12, and I supplement with this. This has 630% of the required B12 that you need. So for me or someone that's vegetarian, nutritional yeast is a great supplement, and it has a good cheesy taste. So anyway, you can mix that into your avocado, and yeah, just assemble it. It's also nice to put some hemp seeds on top. You can put hemp or sesame seeds or pumpkin seeds, whatever you want, just for an extra little taste. And yeah, that's a really nice, well-balanced breakfast. For snacks, we talked about the snap peas, which also go really well in the soup. Unfortunately, I could not get snap peas at my Whole Foods this week, so I will be going without snap peas. So the first thing we're actually going to make this morning are the salad dressings. And if you don't have the miso, like I said, don't worry about it, but I would recommend buying it because it does give the salad dressing a really nice taste. So the first ingredient, in the miso dressing, which we will make right now, is 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. Now, I do not have lemon. You can always substitute lime. I'm going to, and then I don't know, you guys probably know this trick with any citrus. What you want to do is roll it out on the counter a little bit. That kind of breaks up the juice and makes it easier to juice. So it's a nice little trick. And we're going to take that. Did anybody end up getting, I love this little salad dressing maker. Squeeze that right in there. That looks like 2 tablespoons. Okay, there we go. Put that in. And then 2 cloves of garlic, mince that up. Or you can do it the easy way, like I have this minced garlic, which is nice to have in the freezer when you run out of fresh garlic. And you just have to put it's 1 square per clove. And now I'm going to put a tablespoon of the miso in. Get that in there. It's 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. This has a nice little sweet taste to it, rice vinegar. Tablespoon of that. And then a 1/3 cup of sesame seed oil, which a 1/3 cup is probably, Echo, how many tablespoons in a 1/3 of a cup?
0.3333 cups is 5.333 tablespoons.
Okay, 3 tablespoons.
Was that helpful, Teresa?
I love my Echo. Thank you, Echo. He's very helpful. So 3 tablespoons of the sesame seed oil, or you can take a measuring cup and do a 1/3 of a cup. And a little salt and pepper in here. Something you can add in if you like it and have it, you can add in a little fresh ginger, or you can put that into the next recipe. Yeah, and salt and pepper to taste. Now you could put this in a blender, or you can just shake it. This is a shakeable one. Now take it and shake it. I didn't put the salt. Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's so just it tastes like that dressing they have at the Chinese or Japanese restaurants when they just have some mixed greens and sesame seeds on top. So it's delicious. Now the next recipe is super easy because you use the same exact base. So you do the same thing, and then you can add in any nut or seed. So I'm just gonna use this one. Actually, I'll divide it in half. I still have salad dressings left from last week. So I'm going to divide mine in half, and I'm going to put some peanut butter in. So then you've got your peanut butter dressing that, again, they have at all of the Asian restaurants. That's just amazing. And because of the miso, when you want to make sure, I would say use a spoon, and if you have the miso paste, stir it and then mix it. Okay. And I'm going to get another container. It's really delicious for my peanut butter. And you guys, I think we talked about this last week. These things are so great if you want to reuse your condiments containers. They're really versatile. Now, I think I've talked about this as well. So you can buy, I think it's called PB2, and they make it for peanut butter and almond butter, and it's powder. So they've taken out a lot of the fat, and it's really high in protein, because the thing is, unfortunately, nuts have a very high amount of fat, but when you use the powder, there isn't as much. So that's a nice little trick to make things more well balanced by adding, some PB2 into your dressings, or like when I make a curry, I add it in, or different soups. And I am going to add a dash of aminos to this one because it made it kind of thick. And now I'm going to shake it up. And now I've got my 2 salad dressings for the week. But I think you guys will really enjoy the salad dressings. They are definitely 2 of my faves. So very easy too. Like you can see, I mean, right there, you make 2 salad dressings in 5 minutes. Anybody have any questions? No. Okay. And so we're going to start now with our soup. Let me move this down. And the soup, again, the hardest part of the soup is chopping up the vegetables. So the first thing you need is a large shallot. And if you don't have shallot, any type of onion. So we're going to chop up the shallot or the onion. Where you need 4 cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons of ginger. So let's get that together and start putting that into your pot. Okay. Again, if you don't have fresh garlic or fresh ginger or fresh shallot, if you have anything dry, you can use that seasoning. Okay. So we're going to get that in the pot, put that on low. And it's really interesting. Ginger, dried ginger, I want to say it's like, I read that it's 400 times more potent than regular ginger. The drying activates something in there and makes it really potent. Ginger and turmeric are huge anti-inflammatories. So a lot of times I'll even say use some fresh ginger. Personally, I think fresh ginger has a better taste. It just doesn't have as much curcumin in it, which is the anti-inflammatory. So it's good to put a little bit of both. Okay. So I'm going to cut up my onion because again, I think I did not. Oh wait, nope, I did not get my shallot. Okay, a little dump bucket. And I'm going to throw that into the pot as well. Jazz, no. Onions are not good for you. Out of the kitchen. Okay. Get rid of that. And let's put that. Yeah, medium low. We're going to cook it on for 3 minutes. All right. Then in the meantime, we are going to get our 4 cups of water. our veggies, which are the snap peas and bok choy. I cut the bok choy up into probably like, that's about an inch thick on the stem, and then about this big for the pieces. You want to have them, you know, bite-sized pieces. And since I couldn't get my snap peas, I'm just going to throw some zucchini in. The nice thing is you can put whatever vegetables you'd like into this. You could throw, I'm going to quarter up a zucchini, put that in. I'm going to put some couple of kale stalks in there as well. I was able to get that. If you wanted, you could throw corn in, you could throw peas in if you have only some frozen vegetables, cauliflower, you know, really whatever you'd like. But I think the bok choy, my favorite combo is the bok choy snap peas. That's the pretty traditional Asian combo. So get your veggies and you're going to cut them up. And yeah, like I said, the 4 cups of water. And then we are going to put a teaspoon of red pepper flakes or red chili paste in there because it's going to have a little bit of a kick. 1 tablespoon of fish sauce. And if you don't have fish sauce, you can use tamari or soy sauce or coconut aminos. They're all pretty much the same sort of thing. And some salt and pepper. So get that all going. I'm going to get my water. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So this is for 4 servings. If you are going to make it for your family, I would say double it, make 8 servings. I'm gonna put some extra water in mine. I'm not gonna exactly double it, but I love this soup so much. Right? Oh gosh, the ginger smells so good. Okay, so now we can add all the veggies in. I put my paste in. All right, move this over. Okay, veggies going in. All right. And let's see, after you add all the veggies in, we're going to cook that for about 15 minutes on medium low. And then we're going to add our protein in after that. I'm going to use tofu, so I'm going to cut that up. Ready? So the nice thing, you guys could throw like chicken, like from a rotisserie chicken in here. You could put like leftover pork or, you know, whatever sort of meat you have on hand. It's nice to kind of use up whatever you have in the kitchen, in the fridge. So let's get that going. Ah. All right. Yeah, this one's a great one for tofu. So I'm going to cut the block in half. Ah, Darlene. I'm gonna cut the block of tofu in half, and then I cut it in half again. And cut it into cubes. Yeah, so kind of gets you 1/2-inch cubes there. And then if you, I don't know how many of you cook with tofu. Jazz, out. You definitely want to put some fresh water in with whatever you haven't used, and then you're supposed to change out the water every day. I'll admit, I don't do it every day. I probably do it every 2 days, or I usually do it within a day, but you know, that going on. Oh, sorry, guys. One thing I did forget was the cabbage for the soup. You want to cut up some cabbage and throw that in as well. Purple or green, whatever you have, chop that up. And then after we finish, like, we'll let the soup cook. And then that's when we'll do our batch prep, so we can make our quinoa and rice, and then grill up or bake up, roast any of our veggies that we're cooking up for the week, and kind of get everything going. Wash off my cabbage. Chop that up and get it in with the other veggies right now. And again, probably like 1-inch pieces. They'll cook down a little bit, but you want bite-sized pieces when you're making soup. Okay. We're gonna throw that in. Okay. So, how is everybody doing? Where are we? Deirdre, are you cooking?
Hey, Teresa, I had a question.
Yes.
I didn't follow the directions right, and I put the tofu in shortly after the vegetables. So is that going to be a
That's
big
okay.
deal? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not, because it's just going to crumble up. I mean, actually, sometimes it's nice to have it in smaller pieces. Like, if you're not a huge tofu eater, it's easier to kind of get used to it when it's in smaller pieces. So that's fine.
And the second question was to make the sweet potato toast.
Yes.
We do that when we're batch prepping, and then
Yep.
we're just making a long slice.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
you're
do
gonna
you actually put it in the toaster in the morning to warm it
Yep,
up?
you can, absolutely. Yep. Okay. Oh, my soup's starting to smell pretty good. Does anybody else have any questions? Not right now. Okay. So we're cooking that for another 5 to 10 minutes. Get your shrimp or tofu or your meat, anything ready. Cut that up into bite-sized pieces. Hmm. So Darlene, can you hear us? I know you
Oh.
said you're,
You
yeah,
know what? Sorry, all of a sudden, my camera went on. Okay. Should I mute myself?
no, you don't have to mute yourself if there's no background noise or if you have
Oh,
questions. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so sorry about it, being a little late. Oh, here I am. And you guys are starting on the tofu first or the meat or whatever? Is that what I heard?
We're making it kind of in the middle of the soup right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we made the salad dressings and we're starting on the soup. So right now, if you want to get your shallot and garlic and ginger and things like that ready for the soup, you can start
Okay.
chopping that up and getting it ready and cutting your vegetables up for the soup. Yeah, that's where we are. So right now the soup's cooking for about 10 minutes more, and then we're gonna put the protein into it. Yeah.
Okay,
So
and the recipe for this is it, what soup is it called?
miso soup.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, I know how to do that. Okay.
Okay.
But, I'll get started on that.
Okay.
I am gonna mute myself though.
Okay. All right, I am gonna go ahead and add my tofu in. All right. Once you add your meat in, your protein, just need to cook it for another 5 minutes or more on like a medium high heat. And then at the end, once it stops kind of simmering, that's when we mix our miso in so that it doesn't get too heated up. And, if it boils it's going to kill, like we were talking about, the nutritional value in the live pro and prebiotics in there that are good for our gut. Yeah. So, and Darlene, I know you just came on. We're talking about after we did make the salad dressings already, and they're pretty easy. I know you've made stuff like that, but basically you can double your salad dressing the first batch, and then just add your nut or seed butter or powder. I used a powder into the second batch because it's a miso dressing, and then the second one's can be peanut butter or whatever you want to make. Let's see. Oh, Deirdre, that looks great. Deirdre's soup looks quite yummy. Nice. Yeah, so my soup, the nice thing is that the vegetables really don't take that long to cook. I'm actually ready to add my miso. I'm going to add my 4 tablespoons of miso paste in. I'm going to mix it in with I love this. It's like a flat whisk. So you can just kind of fold the miso right in. So now I'm just going to turn my soup down to low. I put the lid on and I'm just going to let it kind of melt, like slowly kind of blend in with the miso. Now, when you serve your soup, you can either make some rice noodles, serve it on top of rice noodles, which is really kind of delicious, or you can use, half a cup of your cooked rice or quinoa. If you don't have rice noodles and you guys have spaghetti, break the spaghetti up and you can cook that. You can put it, add whatever you want into it. And then the garnish is nice to use like green onion or jalapeno, fresh cilantro, basil or mint. And then you can squeeze some lime and a little sriracha on top if you like it spicy. That's the combo I like. And then play around with the taste. If it's not tasting exactly the way you want, you can add a little bit of the tamari or your soy sauce or your coconut aminos. That's always gives it a little extra taste. But you can just play around with it and see what you like best. I'll probably add a touch of that. And you can also, if you like sesame oil, you can add a couple of drops of that at the end, just kind of finish it off and give it more of a sesame taste. But I say things like this, you can play around with seasoning to get it exactly the way you want it. Let me see, what do I have? Okay. And we've done we've done the veggies now for a couple of weeks. So, at this point with your roasted vegetables, when you've been doing it a couple of weeks, it is nice to shake it up. Like I said in the past, like roasting a different cruciferous vegetable every week. Maybe 1 week it's broccoli, next week cauliflower, next week Brussels sprouts, or whatever you have on hand, whatever's still in the refrigerator. Chop all that up. You can do sweet potatoes long ways. I also like to cut the sweet potatoes up into small pieces for my salads. Regular potatoes, like the little new potatoes, are great. Chop up the onion. You can do that whole chunk of garlic. And what else do I have in the fridge? I don't know. I'm curious, how did everyone like the warm, like the cooked Caesar salad? Did anyone try that last week with the cooked cabbage and then the Caesar dressing? I think Suze, you made it. Yeah, you liked it? Good.
I really loved it. I would absolutely make that again. We all
Okay.
loved it.
Good. Yeah, that dressing's great. And just the different texture of the cabbage. It's nice in the winter, kind of when you eat seasonally. You want to eat more cooked, warm foods. It's easier for your body to kind of process. And in the summer, it's better to eat the raw salads. Bye, Deirdre. You have a great Sunday too. Because it's lighter. It's easier for our body we can process raw foods easier in the summer. So yeah, that's why having the cooked cabbage in the soup, a lot of the vegetables, even if you're just steaming them, it just makes it easier. Some people have a harder time digesting raw foods. So having, the soup is great. Oh my gosh, my soup smells so good. It's only 9:45, but I think I might have soup for my second breakfast. We'll see. It's a toss-up between I think I'll do the pear smoothie. Yeah, I got up pretty early this morning because I went to bed very early, and I'm so happy that the sun is out here today. Yesterday was, we've gotten a lot of snow in the last week. I'm gonna have to get out there and shovel a little bit more, but
Us
yeah.
too on the East Coast. 2 big storms this week.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. Did you get over a foot, Sue?
No, I would say like 5 inches each time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys.
We had the earthquake alarms go off last night.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it was fine. It was off of the coast of near Acapulco, and we were at the mall, and we actually didn't hear the sirens go off, but Tonio messaged us and told us that he had heard them and asked if we heard them. And we were like, no, but then we noticed everyone in the mall went to the center and came out of the stores, and they were all around the perimeter of so it was about 10 minutes of excitement, and then everything was fine.
Oh, good. Thank God. Yeah. That is a little scary. Oh.
But it's been otherwise very sunny here and nice.
Oh, good.
And
Good.
we've seen the pictures of Bend. It looks really beautiful too with the sun out.
Yeah, yeah, it's very pretty. I was gonna say, it's funny, growing up back east, they did a really good job on the roads. Like the minute we had snow, they were out at 4 in the morning plowing the roads. So even the side streets, like the streets we lived on, here's you look outside, my street is just got, a foot of snow with ice underneath it. So like getting down my kind of steep driveway, if there's a car parked on the other side of my driveway, like it could be very dangerous. So I have to like make sure I'm like going down really, really slow. And I get out there like right now, I'll go and I've been really good. There's probably only 3 inches of snow on my driveway. So I'm good about getting that off pretty quickly, because when you have a hill, you can't risk it. Once my car slid down the hill and I missed a parked car that was in front of my
Wow.
neighbor's house by 6 inches. And I was like, oh my God.
You would
But,
think, no, you would think though in Bend, I mean, if they get a lot of
No,
snow,
I know
they figured it out.
they're horrible. I don't know why. I mean, we don't pay as much taxes in New Jersey. They're not spending the money on that. Like it's weird. We don't have streetlights on the street. On my street, there's no streetlights. Go to the next street, there's streetlights. Some streets have sidewalks, some streets don't.
Yeah.
But we're also, not paying $25,000-$30,000 a year for taxes. We're paying a quarter of that. So I guess you get what you pay for.
You get what you get and you don't get upset, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've never heard that. I like that one. Yeah.
Us, it's what you always say to your kids.
Oh. Yeah. So, yeah, I like Asian Week. It's super tasty. And again, I think these are all recipes that, at the end of 6 weeks, you guys are going to have a lot more recipes in your portfolio, that you can just kind of mix in whenever you want. Again, the salad dressing. So a really nice thing to do too, and later in the week, is take your, again, you could cook your cabbage up for this one if you want, or maybe do a combination of raw cabbage, cooked cabbage, and get some shrimp, chop up the cabbage, chop up some carrots and cucumber, right? Get that all going. Cook some shrimp, throw it in, and then top it with that peanut salad dressing. Oh my God. And throw some cashews or nuts on top. There's not anybody in the family that I don't think would or you can use, instead of shrimp, you can use chicken with that one too. It's like that chicken salad. You could also throw some noodles into that, but any of these, the dressings just really, I think, make the dishes. But again, if you don't want to do raw cabbage, I would say slice up the purple or the green instead of chopping it into like the 1-inch pieces. Slice it so it's long and skinny, and cook that for 10 minutes. Spray it with some avocado oil and cook it so that, again, you're not eating a cold salad, and it's easier to digest, but having the dressing with whatever leftover protein. I really like it with shrimp. Throw some noodles in there, green onion, all the toppings you'd make for the soup, just to kind of, because you have you're going to have some of this. Like I've got my bok choy. I've got some bok choy left over, so I'll probably make a salad maybe on Wednesday. Once I get through some of my stuff, I'll chop up the cabbage and the bok choy, lightly roast that for probably 10 to 15 minutes. You don't want it it doesn't have to be, it's your preference. Like that, to me, 10 minutes of cooking it up would be perfect, so that I'm eating a warm salad instead of eating something cold. You can throw up, I'm looking right now, I've got avocado. You can throw some avocado into that too. Yeah, so my soup's done. Oh gosh, the soup smells so good. And my dressings are done. Yeah, now I've got food for the next couple of days. I'm very happy. So have you done any of the batch cooking yet? Any of the recipes?
Me, yes, I have. I do it. I did a lot of, I like the quinoa salads.
Okay, great.
So I do those and the smoothies. Those are my two.
Okay, nice.
Yep. And I switch it up every day. I'm not a 3 meal a day person. So
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need, yeah, I know sometimes if I don't eat early, yeah, then you're just eating lunch and dinner. But I kind of do like to eat breakfast, especially I think I got up at 5:55 this morning was my wake up.
But yeah, I like the vegetables in the quinoa salad. I've done that every week, and then I've eaten a little bit every day. So
Good. Okay, good. I like it. Awesome. Oh, there's Lance. Hi, Lance. There's Darlene's husband. Who's that? Oh, there's Jenny's. Okay. Let's see. Next week is Mexican. And excuse me, I will post probably on Wednesday again the extra ingredients that we need for that. Some canned tomatoes. We're gonna make a big chili, which will be yummy. Again, protein of choice with that. And I'm pretty sure I have to look. I think it's when we make the green goddess salad dressing and a lime cumin dressing. Again, I guess I just love salad dressings. This lime cumin dressing is just amazing. Yeah, and then I'm trying to remember the south of the border smoothie. I think that might have some mango in it, and coconut. And yeah, I think we make these egg muffins for that one. So I'll be tweaking the menus and putting them together tomorrow. I do that on Monday, but that should be a good one. Yeah. So, Suze, are you still working on that smoothie? Good, good.
I made a
Awesome.
gigantic one, like
Yeah.
24 ounces.
Good for you. And that's going to help with, putting
Mhm.
some, yeah. And you know what? Yeah, a seed butter into that might even be
I was thinking, which seed?
okay.
Sunflower?
In the pear one, I would say you could do pumpkin seed. I mean, tahini might even taste good in there.
Oh yeah, we have
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that and you should be using that. Has anybody, I'm just curious now that, we've been eating some different foods, eating a little differently in the last couple of weeks. Has anyone seen any shifts, like maybe not feeling as bloated? I remember like someone's when they first did it, after like 3 days, they could not believe like how less bloated they were, or maybe regularity is a little bit more regular, or right, sleeping a little bit better at night. I know somebody in the class had said, they're not on it right now, but they had some kind of issues with something going on, and after doing one of the mindful movement classes, they didn't have the issue at night. So it was amazing. Like, it's just amazing where you're making these little tweaks. You don't know exactly what it is, but overall, just seeing some shifts is just a nice thing after a couple of weeks. So I hope energy levels are a little bit higher, and everyone's doing well. And Darlene, thanks again for your wonderful Qigong class on Tuesday. That was really fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I know Suze did, and Jody was on, and a couple others. And I did. Thanks for the reminder, Suzanne. It was a bit of a crazy week. Honestly, I felt a lot better. Well, last Sunday after I did the class, I didn't realize how not talking for 5 days and then talking for an hour, like my throat was very, very dry for a few days. So even though I didn't have any symptoms, it took me quite a few days to really get my energy back after being sick last week. So even Tuesday, and I totally forgot to post the video, and I'm glad Suzanne reminded me. So we did that, and I'll be posting this video shortly. Actually, I'm going to stop the recording now anyway.